So to get started, we'll get this air box out of the way. And then let's see, how does this work? So the way I figured how to do this, you press this down here and you can move these and it loosens them up. You press this and then that's tightened, or I can press it and loosen. There we go. Kind of nasty up in there. Yeah, we need to clean that out. That's gross. You gotta take these sensors off. Now this sensor, I'm going to wait until I remove these 4 10mm bolts, but first I've got to take off this linkage. I think you just move these forward and it just comes off. Yeah, these two you just move forward and they pop right off. This one and this one just looks like it just pops out. See that ball valve there? Or ball socket? Yeah, it just pulls right off. So now the only thing I got to do is a 4mm, 10mm bolts, and then that. Come on. Come on. Got 4 bolts out. This should just pop right up. Just got to take that off. Yep. This thing's supposed to have a gasket on it. Oh, there it is. So I gotta go get another gasket. Hopefully this thing will come off easy. There you go. See that little rim of carbon in there? That will not make this thing open and shut correctly, and that'll cause your idling mess up. And also, this is an idle air control valve. I suspect this is real dirty too. We're going to take that off. Alright, this idle air control valve uses a T20 Torx to take off. Now when you remove this, you got to be careful. There's an O-ring right here. You want to keep that. And see, this thing goes in and out, so it needs to be cleaned. I hope it's okay. I think this might be the original one. And let's look in here. That's pretty dirty. I don't know what's inside of there. Okay, just a quick rundown of what each one of these is. As we said, the idle air control sensor, basically that little plunger lets air in through this little slit right here and kind of bypass this butterfly valve. This gets some carbon built up on it. You can kind of clean that up. This little servo motor in here can go out. This is what this idle positioning sensor looks like. Those two little teeth keep track of this butterfly valve, you see, right here. Now if you're going to move this map sensor, then there's a little rubberized vacuum line here. So you want to make sure that you're careful when you pull that off, and also make sure that thing's not leaking. So So now that I got it stripped down of all its electronics, I'm going to use some of this here and clean it up. Alright, I got all the carbon out of there. I took this little plate off right here. That's where the idle air control valve goes. Cleaned it all up in there. So anyhow, this gasket is for the idle air control valve area, and then I had to go pick up a gasket. This is the base mounting gasket, Fel-Pro. There's your number there from O'Reilly. AutoZone didn't have it. That was an experience within itself. I don't do what I just did. I put this on backwards. This is the proper way it goes. You see it's got this little tab here. If you put it on the opposite way, it binds. So this needs to be on the opposite side of your throttle. Alright, the throttle positioning sensor was easy to put back on, so now I'm going to lube up this O-ring that goes on my idle air control and clean it and put it back on there. Alright, she's all back together. Now what I'm going to do is spray a little bit of contact cleaner on all the electrical connections. I did put a little bit of anti-seize on each screw that went in because they were kind of tough coming out of there, and Lord knows in the future you don't want to break that off. Don't forget to clean your mating surface, clean all your electrical connections, put your new gasket on there. You tighten it till just about snug nanometers, put your connections back on. Don't forget to plug your idle air control valve in, that's right here. And then your throttle positioning sensor, which is right here. And then the map sensor, which is right here. Okay. And just some little extras on this one. Before I popped it in, I put a little lithium grease because that's metal on metal. And on this one and this one, before you snap it back on, I put a little bit of silicone grease because it's plastic to metal, so a silicone lube. So that's ready to go back together and fire up nice and clean. Idling real smooth. Well, that was one of the easiest repairs I've done. All you need is this little $3 gasket and some carburetor or choke cleaner or some throttle body cleaner, and looks like a T20 torque socket and a 10mm socket. So very easy to do. It doesn't idle rough anymore. So before you go to changing one of those idle air control solenoids at the auto parts stores, about 70 bucks, or any of those other sensors, get you some carburetor cleaner and a few wrenches and take care of it yourself. Have a great weekend.